Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very basic introduction to a program called eDoctrina, designed to help your students succeed and to make your life in the classroom a little bit easier. My name is Leah, and I will be your eDoctrina tour guide for this brief overview as an introduction on how to build assessments and how to collect data using our system. I would like to start by letting you know that there are a few subtle differences that you may see when you're logging into your real life account. The first thing would be this homepage alone. You will likely see different buttons, your logo may be customized to match your school districts, and you may see different button placements. This particular homepage was designed specifically to make building assessments and collecting data a little more streamlined as far as making kind of the less is more, and the buttons can be different shapes and sizes. I do want to mention that although this particular webinar is focusing on building assessments and collecting data for them, eDoctrina is fully loaded with many other modules that manage curriculum, positive behavior intervention and support, often called Behave. We have a standard-based report card tool. In addition to student goal trackers, we have an online learning experience for more of a learning management to get kids involved with doing interactive units and lessons online. But again, today's focus is primarily going to be just the bare basics on assessments. So a couple basic navigational things I want to point out. First of all, in the upper left-hand corner of the page, on this particular screen, you're seeing ruby red slippers, going with the Wizard of Oz theme. So if you get to any page in the program by clicking on any of the home page buttons and you want to get back to the home page, you will click on the logo in the upper left-hand corner. That may be an eDoctrina light bulb. It may be a logo that's custom to your district. In this case, it's the ruby red slippers. The other thing I want to point out is that there are always additional videos and help documentation on virtually almost every component of the system. Our team works very hard to update these on a regular basis. So if we do add some cool new functions, please know that these should be reflecting those new updates. So I encourage you at all times to pull help guides in addition to any little video snippets we've recorded for support. The last housekeeping type thing I want to let you know is that our team is 100% here to support you in any way that we possibly can. So do not ever hesitate to contact our help desk directly. And the email is help, H-E-L-P, at edoctrina.org. Again, that's H-E-L-P at edoctrina.org. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We know that time is always of essence when you're in the classroom. So again, we're here for any questions or support, especially when it comes to building assessments, collecting the data, and then figuring out what to do next with the data reports. All right, so without further ado, I would like to just run you through a few basic functions of how to create assessments. So you can see that this first button that I'm hovering over is called Building Assessments and Rubrics. eDoctrina can manage a lot of different types of assessments. When you transition to the assessment page, which is what you're seeing now, I just want to take a moment to break down the layout of this page. So you have an insert button if you're creating a new item. You have search filters to allow you to quickly locate items that you've collaboratively designed with your colleagues, or maybe you started at an earlier time and you're logging back in to pick up where you left off. A couple key components about filtering. Please know that if you're looking for stuff that you specifically have made, this creator filter is great. If you click on the drop-down menu, you, as the user that you're logging in as, will always be on the very top. So you can see immediately if I chose myself, I will instantly just see one item. Again, you can clear any filters by choosing the X. The other thing I want to mention is the search box. So, for example, if I wanted to be finding any of my assessments, I knew that I had the word end of. For example, end of unit assessment for Unit 3. You can search by keywords, and that will quickly get you to that particular item. As far as common action buttons, you may see edit pencils for some things. In this case, you do not. This means that you've had items shared with you, but you do not have editing rights. Again, all of that comes into the setup of an assessment of who you want to share things with. You can make your things private. You can make them editable by select people. So there's a lot of different configurations that I won't be getting into today, but just know that your stuff is definitely secure and safe. You can always copy items if you have modified versions of things, or of course, copying from one year to the next to save an incredible amount of time. And you can even print answer sheets or assessments and assign online assessments directly from this page as well. So if I'm creating a brand new item, again, I'm going to navigate directly to that insert button. If I zoom in here for a moment, I just want to show a little bit closer the different filters that are available on this initial pop-up. These types of prompts you're going to see throughout the system. This is really trying to make it very easy for new users like yourselves to be able to navigate and effectively complete whatever task you're trying to do. In this case, creating an assessment. So I'm going to say that this is a Unit 5 end of unit assessment. The name is going to go here. The date that's defaulting will automatically default to today's date. So today is May 24th. You can very easily change the particular day, which we like to refer to as the administration day of the assessment. The grade and subject both defaulted. Please notice that if I wanted to add multiple grade levels or change the subject this test was linked to, I could very easily do that by selecting the drop-down menus. These defaulted based on the user that I'm logged in as, but can easily be updated. The course filter. eDoctrina talks directly to your student information system, whether it's Skyward, PowerSchool, SchoolTool, eSchool Data, Infinite Campus, Aspen. There's so many nationwide. Please know that wherever you're typically logging in to take attendance, your staff, course, class, student, and student schedule file will typically be updated on a nightly basis. So you'll only need access to the courses, classes, and students that you're associated with. So everything is done on the back end, which is huge for teachers like us. The last thing I want to mention is just highlighting the main 3 types of assessments that you can create in the system. The first and foremost is the answer key only. I can tell you when I was in the classroom, probably upwards of 85% of the assessments that my team built in the system were all considered answer key only. That means that you have a paper pencil copy of the test already. So you are not recreating test questions. You're not recreating test answer choices because you already have a really great copy of the test. Whether it's online, paper pencil, you're using a textbook, or children have a workbook where their assessments are pre-made. Answer key onlys are quick and easy, and it just takes all the hand grading and organizing of the data out of it. So you can spend what little time you have left in your school day to take the data and figure out what the next steps are. The next level of assessments is called build questions. This comes into play in a couple different scenarios. Number 1, you're teaching a new class or course and you want to make a new test. So you can copy and paste questions in from Word documents and PDFs. You can search for questions from one of our affiliated question banks, that you have a couple that districts can use, or you can, like I said, build your own. So this would be that you want to actually build the test itself and either post it online or print answer sheets. Again, reviewing that answer key only means you already have the test. You just want to build up a framework in the system so that you could essentially print answer sheets for it. Last but not least, performance-based assessments, becoming so incredibly popular in a lot of different school districts. So if you are a special areas teacher, an ELA teacher, or any teacher that's using any sort of project or performance-based assessments, it's very easy to set that up as well. So please know that eDoctrina can be implemented K-12, all content areas. We have tools that meet everyone's needs. You should not have to be changing the way you're delivering assessments to use eDoctrina. eDoctrina should support any type of assessment that you're administering and just make it easier. All right, so answer key only. What does this mean? Now, we have to use our imaginations for a minute that I and yourself, we both are sharing an assessment, and we have a paper pencil copy that we're both holding in our hands right now. So we're both holding a paper pencil copy of this end of unit assessment in our hands. This assessment is 15 questions. Most of them are letter multiple choice, but eDoctrina can accommodate all different answer types, including technology enhanced items from our partnering question banks. If I have 15 questions, I can say most of them are multiple choice questions, in this case with 4 answer options. We can do up to 10. And most questions on the assessment are worth 2 points apiece. I'm just going to create now a basic framework for the test that we already have created. So we're not retyping questions in the system. We're not retyping answers. We are just creating a framework so that we can easily collect the data. So if I zoom back out a little bit here, you can see all the basic information on the top of my screen is already filled out. Scrolling down to the question section, you can see that I have a box that is a placeholder for every single one of my questions on the hard copy of my test. All I have to do at this point is go through and customize the answer key. So I'm going through each one of the multiple choice questions, changing what the correct answer is, and moving on to the next. If this particular multiple choice question is not worth 2 points, it's worth 1, I can very easily update this. If I have any true false questions, I can easily change that as well. So this process of formatting an answer key should be very easy and very quick for teachers to be doing. As I'm finishing, I just want to point out the fact that eDoctrina was born in a very heavy professional learning community environment. So if you are giving a common assessment and there's multiple sections taking it, or you have other colleagues that are going to be using it as well, only one person would have to be setting it up, and you can very easily share that. Question 13 and question 15 are a little different. We're considering those teacher scored items. In a math scenario, the kids may have to show their math equations, so they're showing their work. That would be a teacher scored item. Another teacher scored item scenario for question 15 would be that of an essay. So the kids are going to be writing an essay, and that particular essay or short answer is out of 8 possible points. So just to review, all I've done is format the type of question, the right answer, or how many points. The next step would be to find the learning standard that best matches the skill being assessed in that particular question. We have hundreds of standard sets. If for some chance you're not seeing a standard set you need, let us know, because we can easily and quickly get that into the system for you. So for example, if I was using the Common Core, I can filter for Common Core 2011. You can quickly filter by subject. You can filter by grade level, and you can even sub-filter down to really get the learning standards you need. So I just went from about 66 to 9 very quickly. If I'm finding a learning standard that best correlates to the question, I can drag and drop it over the question. What we find as educators is a lot of times when we're doing this, we're realizing that the same standard can be linked to multiple questions. Rather than dragging and dropping it to each question, especially if there's a lot of them, it could be time consuming. So we've made it easy so teachers literally double click on the learning standard, which opens a pop-up window that I can then say I'd like the same learning standard linked to questions 3 and 4 as well. A question I often get is, can you mix and match from standard sets? The answer is, of course you can. Let's pretend that I want to be pulling some national health and PE standards onto this math test. I can quickly do that. So I can switch subjects. Again, I can switch grade levels. So as an educator, you have full reign of the standards filters. You're not limited at all. So you can very easily link multiple standards to a test question. The last thing I want to point out on this page is on the very bottom. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you may have a grade conversion table that's automatically linked. This is something that's 100% customized for your particular school district. We consider these scoring bands. So you can have customizable scoring bands, different color coding. so that your data reports are really thorough in being able to give you deep insight of the performance and proficiency levels that students are achieving on particular assessments and learning standards. At this point, I'm completely finished. I've set up how many questions, what kind of questions they are. I'm going to save and close out of this assessment. Now, please remember, I did not create questions and I did not create answers. I automatically will be assigned an ID number to my new assessment. And of course, I can always remember the title if I want to search for it again. I'm going to click back onto my home page by clicking on the logo in the upper left-hand corner. At this point, I want to collect data for this assessment, so I'm clicking on my button that says Teacher Dashboard, Answer Sheets, Online, Grading, or Data Reporting. This is going to take me to what we call the Teacher Dashboard. Super simple. There's 3 steps you need to learn, and the 3 steps will help you successfully accomplish everything you need as far as printing answer sheets, assigning online, or pulling any data reports. So here's the 3 steps. I'm going to zoom in so it's a little bit easier to see. The first step says select students. Remember, eDoctrina talks to your student information system. So you'll only have a limited amount of courses and classes available to you. So I've already selected my course. If I click on the class dropdown, you'll see any classes or sections that you are linked as the primary teacher. So if I unselect Jones, I could easily change to my section 1 class. Please notice that there's red asterisks by mandatory fields. So there's not one by select students. So actually, I don't even have to touch that filter because it's automatically going to select all of the students in the class or classes I've chosen. For those of you thinking, but what if I want to do something for only a select group of students? That's when you would 100% use this filter. So you could select individual students. You can even filter for students by additional demographic information. But for now, the defaults are all I need. Your test bank. This is going to say the name of your district. In this case, I'm in our demo district, which is Key West. Notice I'm actually breezing by all of these other filters because they're not mandatory. There's no red asterisks. And then all I'm going to do is search for my unit assessment I just created. And I can filter by a keyword. I could filter by an ID number. But I know that my Unit 5 end of unit assessment was the one I just made. So 2 steps are finished. I've chosen my students and I've picked my assessments. From here down, where my mouse is wiggling, that's where you choose what you'd like to do with the students and assessments you've selected. In this case, I want to print answer sheets. If I zoom back out, you'll see that there's a lot of different types of answer sheets available. It's automatically going to pull up all the kids in my class. Now, there's a lot of additional options that we've added. For example, you could print a set of answer sheets for day 1 or part 1 of a test, another set of answer sheets for day 2 or part 2. And I could spend a full probably 8 hours going through all those awesome functions that we've added over the years based on teacher feedback and real life scenarios. But again, today's just a quick crash course. There are a lot of different types of answer sheets. Some of the answer sheets are going to be full page answer sheets. So if I print my answer sheets, there's a button on the top and bottom of the pop-up. You'll see that this will open a PDF. There are multiple ways to scan answer sheets. I'm going to zoom out for a moment to show you that it's actually a full page answer sheet. These full page answer sheets are designed to be scanned through a networked copy machine. And there would be instructions directly on your copy machine to help you scan these through. It's usually less than 5 steps. You scan these through the copy machine, and then your data is available in eDoctrina no more, at the absolute most, in 5 minutes. Typically, it's about a 1.5 minute turnaround time for data, but at most, your data would be available and all your reports ready for you in less than 5 minutes after you scan these through the copy machine. So that's great. Now, questions 13 and 15, remember, those were part 2 teacher scored questions. So I would be handing an answer sheet to each student, and I'd also be handing them a hard paper pencil copy of their test. For questions 13 and 15, I would have them be writing their answers and showing their work on the test itself. And then as a teacher, I'd be bubbling their score in out of 10 or 8 points for each. Please know that you can have teacher scored questions up to 100 points. I also want to mention as a side note, if you are a secondary teacher or a math teacher who possibly does all teacher scored questions, there's a special tool for you that I will not be getting into today, but we've designed a special screen to make it easy for you because it would almost seem silly for you to print answer sheets to be bubbling in every question score yourself. So we have a screen available for you. I also want to mention that there are web camera answer sheets. These are awesome. These actually can be scanned on your smartphone, a document camera, a built-in camera directly on your computer, or even an iPad. This actually prints 2 kids per page. So these can be scanned, again, on any sort of smart device or on a document camera. I want to show you how awesome these are. So if I click my scan button, you're going to see my plugged in document camera. I had these preset here, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to click rescan. So now that I'm ready, you're going to see that this will scan instantly. And on the bottom, it's showing red means the student got it wrong. Green means they got it right. So if I pull the next one, you're going to see that it will automatically score. The kids can even scan these themselves if you have a document camera plugged in. Now, I do also want to mention that if kids have double bubbled or if there are any discrepancies, you can actually change the information directly on this page. Here's a perfect example. Question number 2, the student actually bubbled in C and B. I may have to call Carlene over and say, okay, honey, which one do you choose? And she said, oh man, I meant to choose B as in boy. I can update that directly on this page. And you can see, unfortunately, that was the wrong answer, but her score is available in the upper left-hand corner. Another thing that I want to showcase to you is our new scanning apps. So for scanning, you can scan on a smartphone. You can scan, again, on any sort of iPad as well. And the eDoctrina app is totally free. So if I scan, which I'm going to scan this one and show you exactly what it looks like. This is this answer sheet here. And you can see on my phone that it automatically picked up if students double bubbled. And you can see that this particular student, I can zoom in, which is great. They wanted this one, so I was able to select that one. And again, you can instantly save this, and it will automatically be filtered back into the system. Again, if I correct this one, you can see that they did a cross off, but in fact, they wanted choice 4. So I just want to stress how the system is really supposed to help the collection of data, whether it's summative, formative, an exit ticket, an entrance ticket. It's designed to help teachers like you save time so that you can spend your time not hand correcting things, but rather going through and using your time to be able to dig into data reports a little bit closer. So that is a basic answer key only. A couple more things I want to point out. For those of you who want to build complete assessments in the system, that is very easy as well. So I'm going to go through that process quickly. I'm going to insert a new one, and I'm going to say online assessment for quiz 1. Now, if you build an assessment, it doesn't necessarily have to be posted online, but it's just an example. This time I'm going to click build questions. Now you have a choice. You can either build your own or you can use a question bank. If you use one of the question banks, you may have one question bank, you may have multiple question banks available to you depending on your district subscription. I do want to point out that we've recently updated the search option so that you can choose a subject, you can choose a grade level, and then you can type in words that you're looking for in the question or answer choices or in a particular learning standard. This will find all of the questions in 4th grade math with the word fraction in either the answer or the question stem. I can then filter down to find the ones I like, and I literally can double click on the question, to add it to my assessment. So it's as easy as that. I can also tell you that you can mix and match. So if, let's say, for some reason I wanted to put a 10th grade science question on there, I can refilter and it will just instantly research for me. This would be the simple search. For the advanced search, you can get a little more nitty-gritty. You can filter by specific question banks, learning standards, grades, assessments. For example, if you were using something from Engage New York, you would be able to search for a particular Engage New York assessment. And then if you're using either Certica or Inspect Item Bank, you can even search for questions by difficulty level, Bloom's, Webb's, and specific metadata such as those types of things. So if you wanted to pull from question banks, they will instantly update in your assessment here. You can 100% modify the question, even if it was from a question bank. So if I wanted to click directly on this question and say, please read this and show all of your work on scrap paper, I can easily update that. So please know that I think of all of our assessment tools, if I wanted to add another question, I could. The options of creating questions and the ease of use is so robust. So if you need an equation editor, special characters, you can easily do that. If you need to upload graphs and images and writing prompts and leaving lines for them to write on, you can very easily do that with these tools. So it's almost like a Microsoft Word document on steroids. I'm just going to fill in some answers here. You can put images for any questions. You can put images for any answers as well. I'm going to put -1 equals. You can put the correct answer, and obviously you can link a learning standard too. So please know that whatever you'd be able to build in Microsoft Word, you can build in eDoctrina. You can build reading passages with corresponding questions. The opportunities are really endless. Online assessments, that's a whole different ballgame. We have so many online computer-based testing tools to support students taking online assessments. Kids can very easily log in with their own username and passwords onto a student dashboard. I'm logged in as James Beam. This would allow you to take any online assessment that was posted. You can lock them. You can lock them to a browser, have specific time frames. You can have recorded audio, text-to-speech, scrambling questions and answers, Xing out answer options, embedding videos. You can have fill in the blanks, graphs, pre-made images. You can have them fill out any sort of essay or teacher-scored question and refer to rubrics. There's highlighters, even reading rulers. Again, the list goes on and on. This is just to kind of whet your appetite to know that whatever you need as far as computer-based testing schools, chances are eDoctrina has those tools. Another way to post assessments online is to use an assessment you already have, for example, the space race, which was a PDF I already had as a teacher and uploaded to this particular assessment so that the kids could reference it. So super easy for the kids to be going through, selecting the answers. Question 15 is a teacher scored question, so they would be able to type their answers directly in this box. So again, just a preview of what assessments look like. And of course, when you print them, if you built the assessment, there's all different printing options. So it really meets your needs as a teacher, does the formatting for you. And you know what? If you even wanted to print it in Microsoft Word, we have the option to allow you to do that as well. So really custom to make sure it meets the needs of K-12 teachers, all content areas. So as a wrap up, as far as collecting data, I just want to mention a few more things. So we've reviewed the following. You can create assessments from assessments you already have or build new. We didn't get a chance to touch on rubrics, but again, there are videos on how to build rubrics as well, if that's something that you are interested in, as well as help documentation on how to build rubrics. So it's very easy to find these particular items. If I've created an assessment and I want to collect data for it, right? I go back to the teacher dashboard. I can print answer sheets for it. I could assign an assessment online, but I do want to show you what a completed rubric could look like. So I'm not going to build one today, but I do want to show you what it looks like. You can print our custom rubric-based answer sheets. These look like this. This would allow you to have full control. So as you as a teacher can customize this, you can customize the headings. So maybe instead of the number 1, you want below level or developing. And then you define what the scoring categories are for the rubric, and you also can choose what the text says. So you could essentially be printing an answer sheet for every student for whatever performance-based assessment, bubble in their score, and again, scan it through that copy machine. Another option you have is to use what we call the teacher completed screen. This was designed for kindergarten screening. So elementary folks watching, the opportunities are endless with this as far as using it for screenings, for sight words, for running record, things like that. So you can easily choose students using the left-hand roster, and then you can automatically be scoring a student on a particular category by choosing the drop-down menus. Now, remember, as a teacher, you decide what scoring is here, and you also decide on what the scoring criteria are. And again, when you choose one, you can click and add comments, student comments if it was an interviewing or conferencing type test, and then teacher comments that you could have pre-made. There are data reports that print all of these. So you can decide if you want the correct answer to show on a data report for a student, if you want your teacher comment or the student response to show. It's very customizable as far as the data reports. This concludes my brief introductory webinar on just the basics of building some of the main types of assessments. Please stay tuned as you can access additional videos on some of our basic data reporting functionality to give you a little bit more in-depth look at the next steps of what to do and how to use eDoctrina after the data is collected. Thank you. We look forward to supporting you and helping you meet your goals and inevitably all of your students succeed. Have a wonderful day.